Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on March 26, 2025. Here he is, Rich Rosen, came to the show. Gavin, our friend, who I think is smart and very successful, he hates these online schedulers like Calendly, okay? He said, you want to have a chance to talk to your candidate and your client, and setting up meetings on the phone is a good excuse, a good way to get in touch with them. And, you can milk them for extra information while you're doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. And go ahead.
But you know what? Listen, ultimately, he is right that you want to be able to talk to your candidates or your clients about setting things up. But he's wrong in not liking those because, sometimes you just got to get things set up on the fly. You're going to prep your guy beforehand anyway. And, those who wait lose. If you're placing engineers, you can only talk to them after hours. What are you going to wait all day to set something up? You'll lose the spot.
Very good. Very good. Here's what somebody said. Another rebuttal. Okay. In 2013, the Golden Gate Bridge's toll collectors at the Golden Gate Bridge, they were replaced by technology, depriving commuters of a smile or a hello. But is life really diminished by getting rid of these fleeting encounters with cheerful toll collectors at a booth on a bridge? No, for most people, no. Okay.
Absolutely not. Now, listen, you should always touch base with your candidates, talk to them as much as humanly possible. But setting up, just getting things scheduled, dude, it's especially that first meeting. It's a game of time. If you want to wait to talk to your guys, you're gonna lose because I'll take that spot every day of the week and fill it way quicker. So I wouldn't do it.
Now, here's a story you might not believe really happened, okay? I believe it happened, but it might be one of those, Alex, I'll take 500 for things that never happened.
You ever see the SNL skit? I love the SNL skit with when it's Celebrity Jeopardy. it's like I forget what it was. It was like therapist and Sean Connery's like the semen Alex or whatever, or something like that. He pushes all the words together or separates them in the wrong spot. You never seen that? You never
talking about? No.
You never saw that? Oh, I'm going to send it to you now. You got to see it.
Okay, let's get back to the point here. This is funny enough. This recruiter got a candidate, screened him fully. Seemed like a great fit. He prepared him. The company wanted to see him. Thank you. The company wanted to see him, prepared him for the interview. The candidate goes out there and bombs. And the client calls the recruiter and says, are you doing a job? Are you screening these people at all? This guy didn't know anything. And so then the recruiter calls the client's mad. Client's normally a nice guy, okay? But he was mad about this. Recruiter calls the candidate and said, what happened? He said, just before it was time for the interview, my friends told me that this is not a good company to work for. So I went in there and deliberately bombed. Is it possible that someone wouldn't cancel? They wouldn't cancel the interview. They go in and make a fool of himself.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Honestly, people are fucking idiots. So
then the recruiter says, should I tell the client the truth? You have to tell him it wasn't you. Okay? You have to. And the question comes there, are you a bad recruiter for not figuring out this guy was crazy? No, sometimes you can't tell. Just like I said before, guys, he's okay on the phone for a phone screen, but when he goes in there, he sees a mental case. I mean, you can't always know.
No, I mean, listen, no. Clients that want to blame you for that stupidity, then they're going to blame you for everything anyway. You can't worry about it.
Do you believe it's true? Do you believe it?
I honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. People are ridiculous, So who knows? You never know anymore. People are so out of their mind at the moment, but you never know.
Okay, the random recruiter. Okay, he posts a lot on X. He writes articles that somebody pays him to, I think HubSpot distributes them. And I've read them. They're good. I mean, we're in a position to actually read an article and know if it's making sense, right? So I think they're pretty good. I would never think the guy was foolish. Here's what he said. I was an average student at best. This is for Tommy because this is what he likes to brag about too. He said, I was told by classmates and teachers that I wouldn't amount to anything. Now, I can't imagine a classmate telling you you're not going to amount to anything. Who says that? If you make fun of the other kids, yeah, they might tell you you're going to be a loser for the rest of your life. Anyway, this is what this guy claims. He made it to college. He said, in college, I had to switch my major twice because I was told by business school professors that I couldn't hack it. Those are his words. He said, after I left school, within 2 years as a recruiter, I was making more money than any of those people. Okay. He said, I've been a top 5% earner most of my career and 1% for my age group.
Animal, you're losing me. Let's get to the point here. That's the question. This is taking forever.
Sorry.
This is the slowest boat to China I've ever been on.
Let me start that one again.
Oh my God. If you do, I'm hanging up.
I'll do a short version. Okay. This guy, this recruiter, I want to know, Rich, if you think this makes sense. This guy said he was lousy in school. The other kids thought he was stupid. The teachers told him he was stupid. He made it to university. He had to keep changing his major because he was doing so poorly. When he got out of school and became a recruiter, within 2 years, he was making more than anybody. Is that possible?
Sure. Absolutely. I don't think most recruiters are great students. I wasn't a great student. Most students are most recruiters in the land of misfit toys, man. If this is like people just fall into this. How many recruiters you know that they fell into this job because they got fired from their last job, or they're like, I don't know, I'll just try this thing out, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, great. I'll find me something dumb.
If the person is not a good student, okay, and he's trying to say he wasn't really intelligent, just like Tom says, I barely made it out of high school.
You ever listen to Scott Galloway? One of my favorite podcasts. All right, this guy's a brilliant guy, hundreds of millions of dollars in net worth. I mean, helped build amazing brands for all that everyone knows. And he's got a great podcast called Prof G. Always starts with a great off-color joke. It was fantastic. I'll tell you one in a minute. It was really good. But he was like, he had a whole article too, and he graduated UCLA with like a 2.27 GPA. He's like, I just barely got by. He's like, I fucked around through all my classes and you figured it out. Dude, being book smart in college or high school or whatever is not the staple of life you need to be successful. It's do you have the drive and the impetus to keep getting back up and to make stuff happen. Having the desire and drive to be successful. That's what it takes. I mean, because you got a 4.0 in college doesn't mean everything. It means you can remember it. You can remember useless facts for a test potentially. Doesn't mean you truly understood the concepts, and it doesn't mean you can execute them.
You mean somebody you're giving ambition as one of the key factors. Okay, if you're an ambitious person, isn't that going to manifest itself in your schoolwork?
No, like a lot of people aren't good students. I wasn't a great student. I did all right. It's okay. A lot. I mean, listen. Just because you can take a test doesn't mean you're going to be great in the real world.
Okay, but he's suggesting that he wasn't smart. These successful recruiters, Rich is a member of the Pinnacle Society, which is a bunch of big billers who get together every once in a while and like to pat each other on the back. That's what maybe that's why he's going to Vegas in a couple of weeks.
It is, but we have VCs coming in. We got a poker player talking about strategies and stuff like that. So,
okay.
Great stuff.
So anyway, so are you telling me those aren't all smart people?
100%, they're not all smart people.
Really?
100%.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, listen, there's book smart, and then there's real world smart, right? Not all these guys are book smart. Like I'm not the most book smart guy. I didn't get a 4.0, but I was good at bullshitting my way through things to get through the tough classes.
Look, when you discuss, I'm not really familiar with all the issues that are involved in startups. They're more complicated, it seems to me, than with the average job because there's concerns about equity and things like that. Mm-hmm. When you start running those off, it sounds like you've mastered it very well. Not only have you the list of things to consider, you can juggle them in your mind very quickly. Okay.
but that's not book smart. That's just being, being able to get comfortable with the material and understand, hey, listen, here's a real world situation. I can articulate that. Tell me the square root of whatever, 9,047 or something. I don't know. You wanted me to do a stats or a calculus class, or, dude, it's just not me. Like, I wasn't a great test taker. So, but the real world, it's a different thing. It's like, here's some concrete stuff. Here's the facts, and you can tell a story or paint a picture for someone to understand it, or at least they feel they can trust you enough that they're going to accept your information.
Well, I just say you come across with a sense of mastery to me of the material.
That's half the battle. It's not. It's you got to fake it till you make it. Essentially,
no, you're faking it with me, who doesn't understand it, right? That's fine, but you're talking to people who are ambitious, salespeople. They understand what you're talking about. The clients understand. Well, you may describe a lot of them as being really stupid. The founder. No, really, he does.
Everyone, to be honest with you, it's both sides of the desk.
I'll never forget. Rich did this one podcast, okay, and I listened to it thoroughly. I liked it, but the thing that sticks in my mind most is he said you get these founders of companies, and they're penny wise and pound foolish. They have to hire. What they need is a good first salesperson. They need a good, strong salesperson, and they want to go cheap. They're never going to get the right kind of person for themselves. They can't figure that out on their own. And when this guy who's got so much experience tells them, they don't want to believe him. Okay.
Nope.
Am I right?
This has happened yesterday. I had a company call me. They're like, we need someone as first rep in the door. And I'm like, well, what do you want to pay? And they're like, we want to pay like whatever, 90 grand. And I'm like, that's going to get you an inside sales guy or an SDR, entry level rep. And they're like, what do you think we should pay? I'm like, if you need the right person, you're going to pay 150, 175. And he's like, well, that's too much. And I'm like, that's what the market is. I'm like, you can get lucky.
You did it too. When you were talking to your buddy Drew, you said they need foundational sales reps. Yep. And that really,
you need like a foundational rep is different than just a general account exec, general rep. A general rep, hey, listen, he can go in. There's inbound leads. There's everything is already built for you. You're just building something out from scratch. You need a foundational hire, someone that is in it to win it. They are part of the team. They have a mind meld. They want to be collaborative. They want to do more than just bang on the phones, but help direct the product, help work between the customers or the prospects and what they really want and where the product's going. Because just because the engineer thinks this is what we really want to do doesn't mean that's what the clients really want. And that happens all the time in tech. The engineer dictates where the product's going because he thinks that's what the market dictates and wants, when that's not really the case.
Okay, so when you just talked now, are you saying that you're really no different from the guy who's working at Home Hardware and Joe Blow walks in off the street, asks a question, and he knows all the answers just like that, but he's making a tenth of what you're making?
I say that again. I'm not sure I followed that.
I was working in a hardware store, okay?
Yeah.
You're a homeowner fixing your kitchen floor or something like that, okay? You don't know anything. You come in and you talk and he knows all the different things, that the products tools you're going to need, the glue, whatever. And he talks about it very confidently and shows you around on the shelves with it fills up your cart, okay?
Yeah.
You're saying, when we're talking about people being smart, you're saying all you're doing is the same as that guy. Is that what you're telling me?
That guy is smart in his domain. I'm like, I don't know about building. He tells me I need this stuff. Okay, let me look it up maybe. But if this guy seems when he knows what he's doing, then let's do it.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that you're a big biller in recruiting. This guy, if we agree that he's doing the exact same thing as you and he's making a 10th or 20th as much as you, is that?
But what's he selling? He's selling, a $10 tube of glue opposed to, a $150,000 salesperson.
So what's the difference?
About $149,000.
Maybe it's wasted talent. Although at the hardware store, people are coming to him. Okay.
Exactly. But listen, if someone doesn't buy that tube of glue because he said to, okay, what does he care? It doesn't change anyone's life. I mean, listen, everyone is smart. Most people are smart in something, right? Like there's, someone knows about, hey, listen, how to run this manufacturing line, how to, you know, be more efficient doing some basic thing. And you know what? I know how to do recruiting. I know how to attract people. I know how to attract clients. I know how to, get people interested in opportunities. But, listen, there's a big difference between attracting them and hiring them. And there's a big difference between hiring them and onboarding them and making that hire successful. And that's what we're all relying on the hiring manager to do properly.
Okay.
I can bring it to the altar, but you got to, the client's got to do the rest. They got to make sure everything fits.
Okay, well, you're strained. Okay, now I can accuse you. You're going off on a tangent.
It's the fuller picture, my friend.
No, it isn't. Well, I was saying was that if you seem pretty intelligent when you're talking about all those things, and then I thought, well, a guy who knows how to everything involved in fixing a kitchen, he could probably sound the same way. But maybe the factor is that he's inside sales and you're going out and drumming up business.
It's a different type of sale. And if you're going to, if you're going to do your kitchen over, are you going to do it yourself or are you going to hire someone to do it?
You're going to do this hypothetically, Rich. You're doing it yourself. That's why you go in there.
There's no way I would do it myself. That's a lot of work. Okay. And it's hard work, and I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to, how do I put a concrete slab down? I have no idea.
What's he going? He's going off on directions. Enough. I got another topic. Okay.
Oh God, thank God.
Issue number 3 is being likable a skill. Okay. People want to work with people they like. I agree with that. Okay. The person has to be able to perform, but after that, likability is a factor in a hire. And this person, again, the random recruiter, he said being likable is a skill. I don't know. I mean, you can be.
It can be. It can. I mean, listen, no, you can be whatever you want, but to truly be able to read into people and make them feel comfortable, and I can see that being a skill. I mean, a lot of that's just innate human behavior. Like this is how you are. There's other guys that are wired to be, a little bit more aggressive and dickish, and that's what they do. But
let me interrupt you. Okay, I think I've got a little more insight than you in this. Okay.
What do we got?
So if you're using it as a skill, you could read Dale Carnegie and start saying, whenever you keep saying, oh, people love to hear their name. So you keep saying, oh, Rich, I think you'd like this. And Rich, you overpronounce it. That's overdone. Okay. But let's say you're friendly, you're helpful, you're pleasant. That doesn't really make you likable. I have a friend who was a tech recruiter making a lot of money. And he told me when he would coach people, these techies, to go out for interviews, he would say, hey, don't be a wet noodle when you're out there in the interview. Some people, they don't have much personality. They're drips, okay? They might be really nice, okay? But they're just not somebody who you would feel energized with spending the whole day with. I mean, because that's kind of a partner for a year or two at least, right? You're with them a lot. So it is then that we come back to, is being likable a skill? I don't think so. And that's why I think recruiting is also, to some extent, it's a personality talent. Okay. You've got some personal characteristics.
Listen, there's a lot of skill in recruiting, but there's an art and science to it, right? It's not just, hey, you pick up a phone and say hi, and people are going to like you. You got to learn how to play the game. I mean, it's a sales game. That's why there's great sales guys and there's mediocre sales guys and there's bad sales guys.
Yeah, you don't seem like a sales guy. And I think you've told us you don't think of yourself as a sales guy.
No. I do think of myself as a sales guy. I don't think of myself as salesy.
Okay, but instead you have to know how to sell. And what does that mean as opposed to being salesy? The guys who are the trainers on LinkedIn who are advising us. I can read you. I've got the schedule, what they say that you're supposed to say on a cold call or in an email. Yeah. I noticed in the such and such magazine that this is a big issue for people in your industry. Are you having those problems? Because if you do, I want to tell you that we solved that problem for company XYZ. That's such a structured presentation. My impression is that you just get on the phone and be yourself. Hi, it's Rich. I want to do business with you.
More or less. I mean, like I usually will say, if it's a cold call, it's like, hey, just following up on an email. You may have heard my name tossed around. We do a lot of work for this your VC's portfolio companies, helping build their go-to-market teams. I heard you guys had we're looking to bring on some sales folks, or like, hey, what's going on with your sales hire? I heard you guys had some openings, or just something totally like nonchalant. You know, it's like, hey, here's who I am. So you're going to tell them, hey, this is why you probably should know my name. And then you tell them your name. You don't really lead with your name often. You try not to. You lead with the why I'm even calling.
You don't lead with your name?
No, if I lead with, hey, listen, it depends. For years you did.
You just said, I maybe you heard of me, okay?
So yeah, but listen, but how did I say it? You may have heard me. I work with, whatever, Sutter Hill or Andreessen, helping their portfolio companies, build out their go-to-market teams. Hey, it's Rich. It's, Rich Rosen at Cornerstone Search. You try not to start with your name. There's only old school we did, and it tries to, you try to break that habit now.
It's crazy.
It's not crazy.
I'm surprised you could hear me say that. It was supposed to be under my breath. Okay.
I hear everything.
Have you heard of me? I haven't told you my name yet.
Yeah. But what does it do? It makes you perk up, doesn't it?
No.
It does. Oh my God. All right. Is it better to say, hey, this is is it better to say, hey, this is Rich Rosen. I'm another stupid cold caller. Is that better for you?
They're saying that anyway, okay? And when that would be appropriate? If you read those books on hypnotic selling, apparently when you make people confused, they're in a more suggestible state. So if you say, hey, maybe you heard about me, and you don't have a clue, they start wondering who's this, right? they're really confused, and then you say, I'm Rich Rosen.
If you create the image that, hey, they should know who you are. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, of course I've heard of you. And then they talk to you. Then they want to know who you are. Like, why shouldn't I? I should know this guy. I mean, listen, that's the difference between, having, a busy desk and a not busy desk sometimes.
Okay. You came late, so we're near the end of the time. Do you want to go a little longer?
God, no, you're exhausting today.
One more?
No, go ahead. One more.
Okay. This recruiter says, I called a candidate. I got voicemail. I left a message to call me. He called at 6:45 p.m. I was in the hospital. My wife was having twins, so I didn't answer. Okay. So then he texted me. He said, obviously, you're not good at your job since you didn't reply back.
You cut out. What was the last part of that?
He said, obviously, you're not good at your job. This is a text that the candidate said. You're not good at your job because you didn't reply. Go to hell.
And then you reply, I'm already in hell with your wife. God, I mean, honestly, candidates like that, who the fuck cares?
Hold on. The guy.
Oh God, just stop. This is painful. Listen, you get these morons and you just say, listen, clearly you need to get laid, or clearly you had a bad day. So why don't you try to reach me when I'm not having a kid and when you're in a better mood? I mean, you can be obnoxious to obnoxious people. It's totally fine.
So that was the question. But this guy didn't know that he was in the hospital with the.
Well, who cares? It's an obnoxious way to send for the text. Who the hell cares?
I agree with you. But he said he controlled his temper. He was real mad. He controlled him. And later on, he sent a text apologizing to the candidate, okay, and explaining. And then the guy said, oh, congratulations. He didn't apologize for his nasty note. And the recruiter wanted to know, would you have chastised him for that? I wouldn't have talked to him ever again. He's an idiot.
Yeah, I wouldn't apologize. I would, send him a quick note and say, hey, listen, like when you're having a better day, why don't you reach out? I mean, that's just obnoxious. And the guy
would you deal with someone who actually had the nerve to talk to a stranger like that?
It would probably be the guy would have to be pretty exceptional, for me to not do something obnoxious back, probably. But it'd have to be pretty exceptional candidate. It couldn't just be a half-assed candidate. If it is, who knows? Maybe you send them something funny and see what they say and see where it goes, because you never know. People all have bad days, right?
Rich, there's I was thinking about you and Tom this week, and there's an adult diaper
You are in rare form today. I gotta tell you.
It's called depends, because you guys are always saying depends. Okay,
Because that's what it is, dude. You were always like, no, it is this way always or this way never.
this guy has shown himself to be a total idiot. Who would want to deal with a candidate like that?
Listen, I told you that story. I had a client that, like, a prospective client called that was a complete asshole, and I called him back later on just to futz around. And the guy ended up becoming one of my best clients. Even came to work for me, and a good friend until he died. So you never know. People have a bad day. Sometimes you just gotta just suck it up and move on, or you suck it up and have some fun with it, or you suck it up and give it back to them. Either way, who the fuck cares? You have some fun. I choose to generally have fun with it, or if I'm not busy, or I'll ignore it. Who cares?
Okay, and with those words of wisdom, everybody.
Oh my God, this has been an amazing show, Edible. I'm going to miss you the next few weeks.
It's a good show. So we're going to wish Rich to have a happy and safe trips. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Bye, everybody. See you, Rich.
See you, buddy. Talk to you.
Okay.